morning. Calling the County Council work session for April 23rd to order. The first item on our agenda is approval of minutes from our April 16th meeting. This was a work session meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those meeting minutes that have been distributed to you? If none, may I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the minutes of the work session.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
There's been a motion and a second to approve our work session meeting minutes for April 16th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting minutes are approved. As we discussed last week, William Harris has tendered his resignation from the Redistricting Commission, and we had a short discussion and decided to put the opening out to the public for people to volunteer. Mr. Massey, how many new applicants have we received?
We have only received 2 new applicants. Part of our problem was that our county website went down for several days, and I wasn't able to get it published in the newspaper, but we did get 2 applicants.
Do we want to extend the application timeline, or do we want to move forward?
Do we have time to extend the application?
The redistricting has to be back to the council by November 15th, I believe it is.
Has the Redistricting Commission scheduled any meetings?
Yes, at your request, I've scheduled the first meeting on the 13th, Monday the 13th of May. And what we were planning to do is ask someone from the Board of Elections to explain the precinct boundaries, as well as David Black from Planning and Zoning to give us some GIS information about the population projections.
So we have 2 meetings before the 13th?
The May 7th meeting.
Vicki, would you bring this other mic down? Okay. What's the pleasure of the board? Do we want to extend it, or do we want to decide today?
My opinion would be to extend it for another week and then make the decision. In view of the fact that the board is.
Is that a motion?
Yes, it is. I move that we open the bidding through this week. For application process.
Application. Okay. There's been a motion to extend the consideration for replacement of the Redistricting Commission membership. Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of extending, we're going to do that for 1 week?
Yes, through this week.
So can I add that to your motion?
Yes, certainly.
For 1 week. There's been a motion to extend the consideration for appointment to the District Commission for 1 week. And a motion and a second. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
The next issue on our agenda is procedure for budget public hearing on May 7th. I expect a good-sized crowd that we've generally had in the past. I just wanted to hear from the council members on their concerns, if any, on how we should set this up. I did have a recommendation by a party that participated in the tier map hearing that recommended that we call upon 3 speakers at a time to kind of lay them out and stack them up so that we wouldn't have to wait for people to walk back. And then, of course, the question is how much time do we want to allow each speakers will present to us their opinions of the budget. Any thoughts or comments, or should we just do it like we've always done it?
I think it's a good idea to stack them up. I think two at a time would be fine. Otherwise they're standing up there for the budget, testimony, was that 3 minutes or 5 minutes? I think there should be an opportunity for 5. But I strongly encourage, who's ever speaking, that if someone's already made the same comment, that they can say they agree with so-and-so.
Is there any other thoughts by any other council members? Okay, Mr. Massey, when we call, for the speakers, would you say, the next speaker is and the next up, or do you just repeat that process each time? So it hopefully will expedite the, hearing. We all agree 5 minutes is sufficient, and, ask people to keep their testimony concise, and if they want to, agree with the previous speaker, they can just say that. Mr. Massey, did you have anything else that you'd like to discuss about that matter?
No, I think, I just want to make sure that we be efficient in our use of the time.
And as a reminder, May 7th, our next public meeting, is when we, the council members, will listen to the public on, what their thoughts are on the proposed budget that was submitted by the administration. Whether they, agree with it, whether they, disagree with it, whether they want to, ask us to cut from the budget, or whether they want us to support the budget. We cannot add to the budget, but we can support it, as presented. Okay, the next item is rules of procedure. I put this on just as a reminder. I know the budget has taken a lot of our time, and we haven't sat down and discussed the, policies and procedures of the, council lately. I did ask Mr. Massey to put together a short list of, items that were still outstanding, and he's taken the liberty of, putting some language to those items. It's in your packet, starting with reimbursable expenses. I didn't have intentions of discussing this today, but to keep it on our brains, so that, we don't have, a lot of time to get it back up to speed. Now, Mr. Massey, when is our next, scheduled workshop regarding this matter?
On April 30th, we would have some time in the morning, or the afternoon, I'm sorry, that we could, set aside the rules of procedure. Since there's no budget here.
I would like to mention something. On rules of procedure.
Go ahead.
I would like the council to consider that we, open the meeting in prayer, just to keep that in mind. Other counties do this, and, there are guidelines that we have to follow, but I think it would be a welcome addition. And then, the regarding emergency meeting, has there been any research done? We've included that the county executive could call an emergency meeting. How many other charter counties have included that? Maybe it's normal process? And how many, require 4 members? I think 4 members sounds great, but how many have 3 members that are allowed to call an emergency meeting? One of the other questions I think are, it's very important that we research is the audio recordings. How long should they be archived? And, the publication, 5-17, did we get an opinion from, the county attorney regarding a newspaper of general circulation and the requirement that our notices be put in a newspaper of record?
Mr. Massey, would you add those items to the list of items for discussion? Councilwoman Rumel, I know that Rock Hall is recently going through this issue of prayer before meetings, and I would encourage you to investigate their research that they have done on this matter.
I've spoken with, Carroll County, I've seen it done in Cattaraugus Town meetings, and I believe Hartford County might also, yes, Mr. Massey remembers.
Okay, I would encourage you to do some research, and if you're gonna recommend that, then I would suggest that you,
You want me to share with you what I found so far?
not today, no, but we'll be sitting down on the 30th. We're gonna schedule a time on April 30th, and we will go through this list one by one, and I'd ask you to be prepared to put together the parameters, because I do know that Rock Hall has done a lot of work to make sure that this doesn't infringe on any issues that they felt would cause legal action. Is there any other items that council members want to discuss regarding our policies, procedures? All right, then we'll move on to Pierce Creek discussion. Councilwoman Bowlesby, you now have the floor to discuss Pierce Creek.
Thank you, Mr. President. Why I asked this to be put on the agenda is that I had a rather lengthy meeting with Mr. Bill Haynes and Mr. Ken Crowley. And these gentlemen have been working not for weeks, not for months, but for years on this problem. And they presented me with this binder, which is filled with information. After discussing the issue with them, they said, well, what's council doing? We haven't heard anything from you. And my response to them was that this is really not a council issue. This is a state issue and a federal issue. But I think that it would behoove us to have a meeting, have them come to a work session where the public can hear it, invite County Executive Moore, and I've already talked to her and she's agreed to be here, and also maybe Mayor Zhang from Cecilton, to just have them bring us up to date on where they are and to listen to what they think they need from us. But I wanted to get approval from the council.
Do any other members of the council have any comments?
Yes, I think it is a state issue, a local
Diana,
issue.
would you speak?
I believe it's a state issue, a local issue, and a federal issue. And I'm happy to see delegates on, Congressman Harris's aide, Richard Saucy here. As you remember, Councilwoman Bowlesby, during the meeting with Congressman Harris, we had specific items we asked him to address
Yes, we
regarding
did.
Pierce Creek. And so we were, as a local government, able to request assistance from the federal government. This meeting that you're requesting, I would also ask that the Army Corps of Engineers representative and maybe even the Maryland Port representative be here as well, so that they can contribute to the conversation. And then with Anivan Masu, I think something else we need to keep in mind is what he was talking about with the increased tanker trade, tanker traffic, the possibility of the canal, the Chesapeake Bay and Susquehanna River being used more after the Panama Canal is reopened. We need to get an understanding of the impact to that area, Cecil County. This might be additional leverage we have in working with the state and the federal government.
Well, my goal was just to open up the lines of communication. We have not communicated with the citizens down there that we met with Mr. Harris. I'm sure they read it in the newspaper, but it's really, and the only thing that I knew about what happened with Cecilton in the meeting with the Army Corps of Engineers was that, what I read in the newspaper. So I think that we need to develop a chain of communication so that everybody knows what everybody else is doing. And that was the purpose in my mind, for this meeting, to bring us up to speed and then to develop a chain of communication.
I agree. I had contacted Bill Haynes before the meeting with Congressman Harris, and once again, I just wanted to reiterate what he had requested. You're about to gavel me.
No.
Okay. I'm getting nervous. He asked specifically from Congressman Harris if he could get the well reports from 1995 to the most recent. If there's limited data available on the chemical composition of superficial and underlying sediments, shouldn't be more testing be conducted to adequately know how bad it is Pierce Creek? And I guess that was just basically the question, what information is out there on the extent of the pollution, contamination from the dredge spoil site? Will he support the community affected by the dredge spoil site receiving a new community water system by the federal government? Those were the key things.
I remember when this issue first came up as far as the reopening of the facility, and it happened a little over 4 years ago when I was a recently elected county commissioner. And the Army Corps came to the commissioners in the Perryville room, and it was a packed room, and they said that we're seriously considering to reopen the facility. And I remember a question that I had was, are you asking us or are you telling us? And the answer was, we're telling you that we intend to potentially reopen them. Now, I know that the Army Corps of Engineers and others have done a lot of studies and analysis, and I think that is still ongoing as we speak. I would prefer to meet with the citizens and the Army Corps and others when the Army Corps decides that they're going to open the facility and what they're going to do about the water and what they're going to do about protecting the citizens from further impact on groundwater and other factors. Today, it is not for certain that they're going to even open the facility. Today, we don't know what their plans are to repair the damage to the water under the site and surrounding communities. So I think, in my mind, because I've been involved in this for more than 4 years, I believe that I have a handle on the current situation myself. Now, I know that Ms. Bowlesby and Ms. McCarthy have been on the council for a short period of time, and if they feel it's necessary for them to get a better understanding of the issues that we didn't already learn from being at the meeting at the beginning matter, I'm okay with that. If we all want to get on the same page and make sure that we're clear on the problems that need attention. But I would rather wait until the Army Corps comes up with some solutions and some proposals that are pending. Now, you know, maybe in a best case scenario they say, hey, this site is going to cost us too much and we're not going to reopen it. I don't know. I'm sure that is one of their scenarios, not likely. But until the Army Corps comes back to the citizens or to the county with a plan, I'm not sure that there's much that we can do other than just understand the issue. So, do we want to meet now or do we want to meet later?
I would say, I would encourage us to meet now, because there's no doubt in my mind the pressure or the participation from this community has gotten the Army Corps of Engineers and the Maryland Port Authority to provide information that wasn't easy to obtain before. And I think we need to remain vigilant, and the community water system is still going to be needed. We need to continue the conversation and periodically meet and see where we're at.
I have to say one more thing. not everyone is in agreement that a community water system is the best solution to the problem. There are citizens that live in that neighborhood that believe that they want new wells and they want to have their own separate well. They don't want a community system. There are others that believe that the solution is a community system. So we need to talk to several of the different entities, because I don't think that the community has made their decision on what is in their best interest, and a lot of it's gonna have to do with what is the Army Corps of Engineers and others going to pay for and provide. So I think there's a lot of things that are up in the air. I'm not, again, I went to the meeting in Bohemia Manor, and I thought everyone was brought up to speed at that time. What new information would you like to talk about?
Well, we're still asking for the well testing. We're trying to find out the extent of the pollution. We still haven't gotten a clear, answer on that. We haven't received all the testing. And I think that's where the two different schools of thought, community water system or new wells. If the contamination is found to be a lot more extensive, wells won't be an option.
That's why the Cecil County Health Department is doing testing in wells, and that's it. Until they finish their testing and come up with some analysis of the wells, I mean, how can we know what to say or do until we have more research?
Well, there's
So
been testing that's been done from 1995 to present that the Pierce Creek residents were not able to obtain, so hopefully Mr. Sassi will be able to get that information. But as we saw in that community meeting, there were a number of people that didn't participate in the original testing. And now that the information is out there of that they are willing to do it, the health department is willing to do it, there's a lot more participants this time. A lot of people were not notified. There just has to be an ongoing conversation to see where are we at, where are some weak spots that we can improve upon, getting information to the public, and communicating with the federal and state and local government.
I just think that a meeting would provide reassurance to the residents that we're not abandoning them, that they're not fighting the battle on their own. And maybe we don't want to fight the battle with them. I do, and I will continue to participate. But I think that there would be a level of comfort if we set up some kind of a communication stream for these people so that everybody knows what everybody else is doing. I know that the Army Corps, when I walked out of that meeting in Bohemia Manor, I said, this is a done deal. They're going to open Pierce Creek. There's no alternative. I mean, it was pretty obvious. But we've got residents that are researching Aberdeen, Carroll Island, and Pools Island. There's tremendous amount of research about the amount of sediment that's gone into Pierce Lake. So I know that there are problems down there. I know that everybody does not agree that a community water system is the right system. But I think that just having a line of communication while this whole thing is going on would help. It doesn't have to be an hour meeting. Just have them come up and tell us what they're looking for from us. I think that's really important.
when and where do you want to meet?
Well, I thought we could do a little work session, and I told them it could be as late as mid-June, end of June, maybe even into July, because we're doing the budget right now. But I just felt, I wanted them to know that I cared and that I was interested, and the rest of the council, in my estimation, was very interested in what is happening down there. And when you read the information that they presented me, you realize how critical doing something above the dam is. The Susquehanna is dead.
Right. Would you have a problem postponing till July?
No.
And hopefully there'll be some new data, new information.
Absolutely, I don't have any problem postponing it until
Would you try
July.
to schedule something with the Army Corps of Engineers, all the community associations?
County Executive Moore and Mayor Zhang.
Right. Now, Mayor Zhang may or may not be.
Want to participate.
That depends on whether or not their public water system is a feasible solution.
He met with the Army Corps and they indicated that that was something that they would be willing to consider.
Right, so whether it's feasible or not is debatable. All right, is there any other discussion regarding the Pierce Creek dredging facility?
No, I just would agree that, we should be looking at a regional approach, on this sediment issue.
It's scary.
Mr. Massey, do you have anything to report today?
Just to review of we're anticipating, the administration has confirmed that on Tuesday, April 30th, from 10 to 2, we will have the Bay Cabinet meeting. It will be held at Donaldson Brown, and as part of that, we'll be meeting there, and they will, I believe, have a bus tour down to Conowingo Dam. There'll be discussion after the tour, and lunch will be provided. And then the afternoon of April 30th, we'll probably need to delay our afternoon session if the Bay Cabinet meeting extends to 2, but we would be scheduling the workshop on the rules of procedure, as well as at 3:30 is the college quarterly update. And as you said, on Tuesday, May 7th, during our afternoon workshop, the Citizens Budget Advisory Board will be giving their recommendations on the budget. And then that night is the public hearing on the budget at 7. We did announce that the first meeting of the Redistricting Commission will be held on Monday, May 13th at 7 p.m. here in the Elk Room. On the budget workshops for the council to discuss the budget are scheduled on Tuesday, May 14th, and Thursday, May 16th at 1:30. And we did have a request, Councilwoman Vermel had asked about getting the chief of the Fire Chiefs Association of Cecil County were interested in meeting. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, I've been approached by, a fire chief, and, he's very concerned about the radio system. Since then, I've also been, approached by the president of the American Legion and Rising Sun. He heads up the ham operator, system in Cecil County. And there's a potential for a backup system with the ham operators, which we used to have, but since we moved to the Berkeley building, the new emergency operations center, we don't have that program anymore. So I didn't know if we could incorporate the two or just take one at a time. But apparently, from what I've heard from this chief, the chiefs had voted unanimously to request a meeting with the council. I have since gotten the person that heads up the chiefs, his phone number. I can give that to you, Mr. Massey. You can give him a call today to confirm. I think there was a specific date they had chosen already, and there might be a challenge in scheduling that a lot of them do work, so it might have to be an evening meeting.
Jim, would you give me the Bay Council meeting date again? Is it May 30th or April 30th?
No, April 30th.
That, okay, because I have written down that. I thought it was May 30th. I wrote down that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a Thursday, because that, April 30th is a council meeting.
I apologize. Sorry about that. Okay, and then you did receive, all the council members received the report from the Animal Care and Control Oversight Commission, the first report for January through March 2013. That's all I have.
Any questions for Council Manager Massey? All right. Council members have any items that they'd like to bring to the attention of council? Mr. Dunn?
Just one brief item. I attended the state Republican convention over the weekend in Timonium, and I wanted to congratulate Diana Waterman on her election as chairman, and Collins Bailey on his election as first vice chair.
Thank you. Councilman McCarthy?
Yes, I have a number of items I'd like to address. On Saturday, April 13th, I attended the dedication of a new building for actually it'd be the Elkton Boys and Girls Club. That was a very nice affair. People donated the entire building plus $10,000 to get established. I also went to the Axe Point Fire Department. That was again the same day, which was April 13th. On April 18th, I attended a groundbreaking for the Science and Technology building as East Community College. In addition, I have a letter which was addressed to me, to Dr. McCarthy, ETL, which is most of us too, I believe, from a gentleman by the name of Ray. I would like to have Mr. Massey, with the President's permission, read this to the participants of this meeting.
What's it regarding?
Mandates.
What's Mr. Ray's last name?
I'm not giving that. Would that be okay?
I guess so.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce it anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that the last name's important. I think that he represents the views of many citizens of Cecil County, and basically he talks about ideas and things which have basically been near and dear to this chamber.
I constantly hear that we have to do this because of a state-federal mandate. If someone mandates Cecil County to do something, be it to fund pensions of teachers, change curriculums, protect the Bay, you mandate us, you fund us otherwise, we place your mandate in the circular file. The most recent mandate, I think it is for the most recent, is the infamous rain tax mandate. Rain comes down, goes into the Bay, we love the Bay, so we must protect it. So we mandate you to collect money from residents to protect our Bay. I thought the government already mandated Bay protection. Number one, flush tax. You know our drainage fields eventually go into the Bay. My system has to work, or I would have more issues than the Bay. Number two, holding ponds. I thought that it was already mandated that developers of the housing and mall projects dedicate certain areas to be used to hold water runoff. You know what really needs to be addressed as far as water runoff into the Bay, rivers, wetlands, etc. Roads. Vehicles driving on bridges and interstates emit all sorts of pollutants. When it rains, this runoff water goes directly into the ponds, rivers, and the Bay. There are no holding ponds, but there is no need to tax these vehicles further. Our beloved government in Annapolis has already put into effect a new gas tax to develop and improve bridges and roads. I am so sure that they had rain runoff from interstates and bridges as part of the benefit of the new tax. Let me give you mandates. It will not cost county government anything. Tell the feds and O'Malley you want to mandate us to do something, fund the mandate 100%. Realizing how difficult it is for the tax-paying citizens of Cecil County to pay current property and piggyback taxes, Cecil County government mandates no new taxes, fees. Furthermore, mandates a reduction in said fees and taxes to begin 1 July 2013. Now there are some mandates even I can live with.
You're right, he expresses the view of a lot of us.
Yes, he does.
Yes, it does. That's why I added this to be written in the record.
Anything else, Mr. McCarthy?
No, that would be a present knowledge.
Councilwoman Bowles?
Well, I went to the groundbreaking ceremony on Wednesday at the college as well, which was a lovely affair. And then on Thursday and Friday, I spent 12 hours at the health department being certified as a mental health first aider. They actually have a certificate now to do that, and it was a very worthwhile 12-hour course with a test, I might add. So I will be getting my certificate shortly.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Brown?
Yeah, I have a few items. Along along with, Councilwoman Bowlesby and Councilman, McCarthy. Last Wednesday, I attended the groundbreaking ceremony for Cecil College's engineering and math building, and this new building will provide space for the expanding course offerings by Cecil College in engineering, science, math, and physics. The anticipated completion date for the project is August 2014. Very surprised that it was going to be done so quickly. And it will be the first building in Cecil County to attain LEED Silver certification with its green roofing trays over an SBS modified bituminous membrane roof and block stone and glass walls. Thursday, I attended the first meeting of the Animal Care and Control Oversight Board.
I went to that too.
Yes,
I'm
you
sorry.
did. I saw you there. It was a basic introduction meeting with a question and answer session between the board and Animal Care and Control. Ideas were shared on how to inform the public about the new name for Animal Care and Control and its new location at 377 Hutton Road in Elkton. I just wanted to say it was a very positive meeting, and I think the Oversight Board is going to bring a lot of positive contributions to care and control in the county. And was very pleased to hear of all the volunteer effort that's going into this as well. On Sunday, I attended the Eagle Scout ceremony for Matthew Hayden. I always enjoy attending these events because you can see the many years of effort and dedication the Scout put into achieving Eagle Scout. And in attendance was Wayne Brown, the first Eagle Scout for my son's troop, Troop 92 of Corps. The explanation, I wanted to follow up with the Seneca Point wastewater treatment plant. The explanation by Director Flanagan to incorporate the MBR system did not address my concerns. He didn't adequately show that other systems were reasonably explored, or that we need to address the expansion issue now. In addition, I have requested further information from Director Flanagan regarding Seneca Point wastewater treatment plant, which he still has not provided. And I believe, Councilman Hodge, we had requested, it's in our minutes as well, to receive a current list of sewer allocations that have been issued and when they are scheduled to expire, so I'm still waiting on that. I will be submitting a resolution that the council would have oversight of the casino grants. Everyone I've discussed this matter with agreed that it would be best for council to administer because the council has public meetings for transparencies and checks and balances. If the county executive administers, not that I'm saying it would happen, but there could be the ability to use for political paybacks. In fact, the county executive was proposing to hire a new position within economic development and utilizing casino grant funding, so there would be no cost to the taxpayer. This was not proposed by the Casino Oversight Board and was not a part of their three-year plan. Also, I wanted to give you an update on the Clean Chesapeake Coalition. On Saturday, April 20th, Bruce Michael, Resource Assessment Service Director in Maryland Department of Natural Resources, publicly announced that Governor O'Malley has established a high-level work group to begin addressing and assessing issues related to the Conowingo Dam. Mr. Michael said that the first meeting of this newly charged high-level cabinet was to be Monday, April 22nd. Also, we have a website, cleanchesapeakecoalition.com, and you can like us on Facebook. And just one last thing, the update on the lawsuit, or the petition for the SB 281. There will be no petition. The Second Amendment advocates will forego a petition effort and instead mount a legal challenge to overturn Governor O'Malley's sweeping gun control law. It was decided at an event in Jessup, Maryland. Delegate Neil Parrott, alongside gun rights groups, including the NRA, Western Maryland Sportsman Club, Maryland Shall Issue, and Associated Gun Clubs of Baltimore, announced they would seek to overturn the law in courts. Parrott, who heads MarylandPetitions.com, the group that successfully petitioned gay marriage, DREAM Act, and O'Malley's congressional redistricting map to the 2012 ballot, were eventually upheld by the voters, and said he consulted with the pro-Second Amendment groups and that they decided the best way to go was through the courts.
Good.
That's it.
I did go to the meeting in Chestertown on Saturday where Mr. Bruce Michael made a presentation. He is the Resource Assessment Services Director with the Maryland Department of Natural Resources. And what I took away from it was that it is true that finally the state is taking seriously the sediment behind the bay. Behind the Conowingo Dam that impacts the bay. In my opinion, the reason that the counties joined forces and joined the Clean Chesapeake Coalition was the fact that the governor and the state was not listening to us when we were trying to say that the big elephant in the room regarding sediment and other nutrients entering the bay is coming down Susquehanna, and the sediment behind the dam needs to be addressed. The fact is that I believe strongly that they have now gotten the message that this is an important matter that needs attention. And he did go into a long discussion about, in fact, that more than 40% of the nutrients that affect the health of the bay is coming down the Susquehanna, and that high flow events are causing scouring because the sediment holding capacity has reached 86% of its total capacity, and that any high flow event scours it and brings it through. The fact is that Muddy Run, Haltwood, Safe Harbor, York Haven, which are all upstream, are all fully filled with sediment and no longer have any holdback capacity for sediment. The state has entered into an agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers and other partners to do another multi-million-dollar study on how to manage this problem. It seems to me that there's been lots and lots of money, millions spent on studying it, yet no money set aside for actually doing anything. This gentleman, Bruce Michael, also insisted that Maryland Department of Environment holds some leverage over the relicensing of the Conowingo hydroelectric dam because a water quality certification has to be issued. And this is the same water quality certification that's required for the Army Corps of Engineers to reopen the Pierce Priest dredging facility. Of course, they admitted that the Exelon really does not impact the water quality. The sediment is all coming down from Pennsylvania and New York. So that'll be an interesting fight for the state and the Exelon to work out. And again, there was, and this is what kind of perturbed me, that supposedly a high-level work group was meeting yesterday to discuss a strategy to move forward. Of course, again, Mako and none of the counties were invited. I hope this doesn't turn out to be another case where they have a plan for us, the citizens of Cecil County, to spend their dollars solving this problem without our ability to sit at the table and work out a solution. Another event that I attended was the Water Witch Fire Company Award Banquet in Port Deposit. It was a great event. There's a lot of citizens of the Port Deposit area that serve the Water Witch Fire Company, and they do a great job. And they also gave a plaque to the county, Cecil County government, for their investment in a aerial ladder that we provided a lot of funding for. They seem to be very proud of the equipment and take good care of it, and we the county, do support our fire companies, and they are thought of in our budget, and we need to continue to think about them when we do our budget consideration. But thank you to Water Witch for your appreciation for what we do to help too, even though it's a mutually beneficial relationship that I think the citizens make out better because of all the volunteerism. Just one more reminder of the public hearing on the budget. I'd like to hear what the citizens have to say. I'm assuming that the administration is going to make a short presentation
Yes, sir.
of the proposed budget. Keep it short and simple.
Yes.
Some way it might be beneficial for us to make the public aware of the proposed suggestions from the Budget Advisory Committee. When were they going to speak to us about that?
That will be on the 7th, the same day as the public hearing.
In the morning?
Yes.
Do you think
Well,
that we,
afternoon.
do you think we could have not a PowerPoint presentation, but some type of list of their suggestions?
I believe they're going to develop a list. I'll verify that.
But as far as the public that comes in on the 7th, how will they know what the recommendations are from the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee?
My impression was they were going to present you with a written recommendation, so we could have copies.
Do we want the public to know what that is, that list?
We'll decide that after we see the
Sorry?
list.
Yeah, I agree.
What?
I said, we'll decide that after we see the list. I don't know that we just want to put the list out there because we may be vehemently opposed to something that they recommend or vice versa.
All right, that's all I have.
I have a question for you, Mr. President. At your meeting on Saturday, was there any indication that the the Pennsylvania Department of the Environment is supporting efforts to clean up the Susquehanna? Because everything that I have read indicates that they are not. I think that the problem is so huge with all the tributaries that spill into the Susquehanna that they don't know how to control it or what to do with it. And I was wondering if anything was discussed.
My first impression is that this whole process, this whole presentation was something that the state and the governor were trying to do was cover their ass after the fact, because I don't think they gave it serious consideration until recently. And I think that's because of the Clean Coalition and the other counties making it a big deal. And one of the things that he said is that the governor had sent letters to the governors of Pennsylvania and New York asking for their involvement. But I think that we also had a discussion after the presentation that the attitude in Pennsylvania is completely different than the attitude in Maryland, especially at the Department of Environment level, where I think that Maryland is certainly this is important, we need to do it now, no matter what the cost, and move forward quickly. Where in Pennsylvania, the attitude is not so much, and so, as a matter of fact, as my understanding of Maryland, the governor of Pennsylvania has sued EPA over the entire total nutrient loading strategy. So I'm not sure that they're taking it seriously as our governor has.
Thank you.
What about the state of New York?
I'm not sure what the state of New York's attitude on this matter is.
What I've read basically I seem to believe that these people view this as a voluntary participation if they choose to do such, and if they don't want to participate, they don't participate. I mean, keep in mind, we're draining an area bigger than the state of West Virginia into the Chesapeake Bay every year.
Keep in mind their location in the bay too.
No, I
They
understand.
cooperate, it's.
You're absolutely right, there's nothing that we can do.
Billions of dollars.
You throw the trash in the Pennsylvania River, it shows up here.
All
Exactly.
right, is there any other issues that we need to discuss in our work session today? Then I'd like to have a motion to go into closed session to discuss council attorney appointment.
Motion to go into closed session.
For a second?
Second.